Those braces are beginning to shift, so the chimney is actually curved now. And I don't know how much that chimney can curve before it just, the mortar gives way, it just comes down. We do have folks that go down there in the summer. They have legal access, you know, down there. I mean, it's not fenced, so tourists can walk down there and look at all that. And we have people that do go down there, and kids that go down there. All right. So the chimney is in danger of breaking completely away. Now, why is that? Well, if you go back and look at the roof's got holes in it. It is raining inside the building, and the pigeons are living in the upper portion of the building. There's big holes.
Is this the one on Front Street?
Water Street? Water Street, yeah. Yeah. It's got the boat, it's got a new boat tied behind it.
Not anymore.
Well, why I'm asking is I know a fellow contractor and stuff is supposed to put in a roof on that.
Well, that's interesting, and I was also going to mention to Jim, have you made any contact with these people?
Not yet.
Because just today I noticed that the shrubbery and small trees that were growing up along that side of the building,
Yeah.
someone's chainsawed down.
Well, they're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, I know they are. I just didn't know if it was a result of you having said something to them.
The only thing I can tell you that I'm pretty sure that there's a lady out of New York that owns the building. And I'm pretty sure that there's a contract, contractor that to go in and put a new roof on the building, do the lumber in it and so forth. And I found that out through a couple of fellows, contractors that I work with sometimes. They ask me about the building and ask me about how to do, you know, how to put up staging things around that building because it's quite touch and go. The number of years ago, I had a pump staging put up in the front of it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the big heavy power lines and stuff over front, well, after you get a pump staging up so high, and what we had done is we had actually reinforced the front face because it's like a Western style building. The flat face goes up. Yeah. Right. And we done a bunch of work on it so it wouldn't fall out into the street. Well, it changed hands. It just sat dormant for quite a while. And this lady, now, after the meetings and everything, I think I can give you an individual's name that you may possibly be able to get in touch with the lady.
I have her name and
Oh, you do?
I have all that information.
Let's let Jim continue with his presentation.
Yeah.
Of this.
Now, if, what we have there is that Western style facade or whatever you call it, I don't know what it's attached to. I know there's two cables that go to it.
Right.
But I think they're just screwed into wood, which has probably been exposed to the weather and could rot out. There's power to that building. So if something did fall in the interior or the exterior, very likely could trigger a fire. All right. The power was on when I checked that building. Okay, let's go back.
Was it on through the whole building?
Well, I didn't go inside.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you had access. Because if the power's on the lower part of the building, it might be more, you know what I mean, if there's trouble up above or electricity in the roof.
Well, power was on.
Okay.
Okay. The meter box was live. Okay. So I looked in through the windows, and of course the ceiling's falling in from all the water and stuff coming through the roof. The pigeons have been living up there, and the roof, I don't know how long it's been open like that, but it's been a while. And the reason I can tell it's been a while is because the back wall is beginning to bow out, and the rim board, the band board, the second story band board, is shot. It's rotted out, and these sill plates gone up there, and the building is beginning to look like it's doing this.
And it
the
is.
chimney sits here. The building isn't beginning to implode this way, slowly. All right. I don't know. I don't know if anybody has been in that building and inspected it. I haven't, but I would be very uncomfortable going in the building and inspecting it. Okay, quite frankly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just think that you can see the back lath siding is rotting. And I just, well, let me go to my notes. Holes in the roof, chimney is collapsing. The third floor east wall band board and rim joists are rotting and rotted. through. You can see where it's rotting clean through. And that's right behind the chimney. Which means water's getting in there and running down through that thing, that whole back wall. It's next to the shore where people work, power's on, and pigeons are living up there. And I can see evidence of drainage inside the interior of the building. I can see the ceilings collapsed. Up there it is. So, I would like to recommend the board go down and look at it. And let's, I'm going to draft a letter designated it as a dangerous building. And,
Because she isn't aware of this, I mean,
well, she's been aware of this for some time. It isn't like she hasn't been told. She's been sent letters by the former code enforcement officer. She's been told plenty of times that building is in dire need of repair.
okay.
Well, she's done.
Well, that changes the water on the beams, knowing that. I
Yeah,
didn't know if she
she's
was
very
away,
aware
bought something.
that building has
Okay.
been in a state of disrepair, and she's just, patching it here and there.
Can you have us
Letting
a
it go.
letter for next meeting? That will give us a chance to go down and look it over, and if we decide to go forward on it, the letter will be ready and it won't delay us
Yeah,
any.
I mean, she's been contacted by the adjacent property owner, she's been contacted by former code enforcement, she's been sent letters by John.
Right.
And, and reasonable people know that you just can't let a building without a stitch of paint on it sit out in the weather around here, for 20 years. Here, Rule 101 of assessing here is if you let a building, you take a brand new, perfectly good, 1 or 2 story house, brand new, might just finish building it or whatever, and you let it sit unattended and unmaintenanced, okay, for 25 years, it's done. It's not worth salvaging. If you don't paint it, caulk it, take care of the roof. If I was to build a house out here at North Lubec Road and just let it sit there for 25 years and not touch it,
I've lived in a lot of them.
You have a lot of compost.
it will be it will dilapidate to the point where it costs more to repair it than to tear it down and build a new one.
Right.
That's typically because the weather around here does that.
Yeah, the only way that they get by it is if they're watertight, if a building is watertight.
Once water gets in it, it's
What's
a
done.
tremendous level of
It doesn't
acceleration.
take long, yeah.
Yeah, it just takes a couple of years.
All right, so you're gonna come back to us
With a letter.
with a letter on this
I'm
one.
going to propose a letter, and that'll give her a chance to come back to me and say, oh gee, I've hired somebody, and if she has, and here they are, and then it may be that, I don't know if she's just hiring somebody to just patch it up again.
Well, from what I was told, of these contractors and stuff, and what you've just told me, I think the roof would be the last thing to worry about. I mean, why would you
Yeah.
climb up into something that's gonna fall down after you get onto it, right? I think maybe the integrity of the outside shell and structure needs
Well, the
to be.
roof is paramount.
Well, I understand that, but.
But the rest of it's going as well.
You know,
But if the supporting,
dead fall is either you can be on top of it or under it, probably still kill you, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna put a new roof on a building, it's gonna, it may need more than a new roof.
If it was 40 feet away from the sidewalk, that would be one thing. It's not. It's a clear and present danger right next to the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
There's broken glass in the front where kids and people walking by swinging their hands could.
And that parapet thing overhangs live power lines.
yes, water,
Right.
yeah,
Drag
water
down.
juice there, yeah.
And
So get us a letter for our next
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah, do that.
Give
Get a
us a
letter
chance
up.
for us to look at
We'll go
it.
take a peek at it and, then.
yeah, I
serious.
think it's time for the board to
Yeah.
take some action. I just
Because-
would like you guys to take a look at it and get your own
If she
feel of
doesn't
it.
come across, then.
Good. So we'll see you next meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Well,
Good. Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Plenty of time to
Yeah.
write that letter.
Exactly, and that gives us time to go look it over, and
right.
if she calls you back before then, let us know.
Maybe she'll get wind of this meeting and give me a call.
Could be
We
watching.
can only hope.
She could be watching.
Yeah, I'm not calling these folks first. I'm sending them a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then if they're concerned, they can call me. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Because all of these folks know the situations with their buildings.
Yeah.
It isn't like this is new news.
No
Yeah.
surprise. It's no surprise to them.
Yeah, see, I had done it changed hands. She would bought it sight unseen and lived away. Till I
I understand.
Chapter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank
Yeah, you are.
Good work.
Yeah,
Well,
good deal, thank you.
Drive safe on your way home.
I'll-
Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
Right.
All right, see you next meeting.
Okay.
All right. I will entertain a motion to sign warrants.
Make a motion to sign warrants.
We have a second? We have a second. All in favor? And while this is going around, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the February 14th meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 14, 2013 meeting.
Second.
All in favor? All right. We'll start with old business, and the first thing up on old business is the Small Harbor Improvement Program grant bid ads.
Yeah, Town of Lubec received notice there that our Small Harbor Improvement Program grant request was granted. And part of the project includes replacing the whalers at the bottom of the pier, replacing the pilings, and replacing the gangway. I got a call this week from the main DOT, who is the one who sponsored the program, and we are getting close to crunch time to get our ads out and begin the work portion of the project. I've sent the information that I had for the gangway to a company that builds gangways, and I got the information from the state of Maine, and I asked them just review it and make sure that this gangway is going to do what it needs to do and it's going to be heavy enough. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. But when I do, I'd like to have permission from the board to go forward and put the request for bids for the pier whalers,
The gangway,
the pilings, and the
This is the
gangway.
aluminum ramp.
This is the one down at Commercial Pier that was damaged in the storm.
that was not repairable?
It has been damaged numerous times. It has been repaired numerous times. It's aluminum.
Yep.
And in the areas where it went, because of the X bracing, which provides the rigidity to that ramp,
Yeah.
you can only put in little short pieces. It's used by the public.
Yeah.
It would be foolish on our part to try to patch that. And if something went wrong with that patch job, because it's only little pieces that you can put in, you can't put in one big long piece, that's been tried. If you look at it and examine it closely, you'll realize that. And the other problem with it is every time you weld
Cracks on the side.
aluminum, it weakens, and I won't even walk out on it chained up like that, because
No.
I know what the end, how many times the end of it's been heated. And
Yeah, my concern is that if you look in the middle of it, you can see where the aluminum, there's almost like a tear. Almost like when it was caught underneath the floating dock, it twisted. So, I mean, that is for the commercial pier, so,
Yeah, well,
I mean, it would make sense that you've got fishermen hauling heavy loads up and down.
Well, usually you just walk up and down that, you don't take two, unless some individuals take down the dinner kettles, they get quite heavy, but, the main thing is a lot of times, anything that's made out of aluminum, whether it is fisherman's rigging or anything, it's, in these scallop drag boats, I've seen them take some awful, awful twists and pulls and rip apart, and they're able to jack them back together and grind them all down and put them back in working order, so that's why I used to ask.
Right, and, well, the only,
Yeah, no, I don't think it's worth risking,
Oh, no,
saving
they
some money,
want to
risking
do
the
that.
public
Public safety.
safety.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, as long as it.
So that answers that question about